Hello and welcome to Season 2 of the Project Manchester United. Last season we had some decent success by doing a domestic double, winning both the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. A very decent first season in charge and a few decent signings, a few decent improvements around the entire club. And now we're ready for Season 2. And we kick off Season 2 with the FA Community Shield against Liverpool, who pipped us to the title last season. And Milan actually won the Champions League, which is interesting. If we do look, can we look at last season? Milan. They were in our group and they went on to win it. That could have been us, but we let it go. If we look at the competitions that we are in this season, of course, we enter the group stage of the Champions League. We are trying to retain the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. And of course, we will try and beat Liverpool today to win the Community Shield. We have to reach the final of the FA Cup, reach a semi-final of the Champions League. We've already won the Friendly Cup, bit of silverware. And in the Premier League, we are hopefully, we have to challenge for it, but we are actually the favourites. And for that reason, it's because we've made a number of brilliant signings, as well as doing very well last season, but we are the favourites. So can we put the faith back in the media? Fulham, Bournemouth and Sheffield have all come up, so hopefully we can get good results against them. You can see Erling Haaland has signed for City and Mbappe has obviously signed for us. So we'll go through signings soon, but some key things happening there. Now, I think we get straight to our signings. If we look at our transfer history, of course, we have some big names and some big things happening. You can see that Kylian Mbappe has joined us, one of the world's best footballers has joined us, and he will be playing either as the advanced forward or as an inside forward on attack. We've got options there for him, but I think we'll have him as the advanced forward up top. And he looks an absolute beast. He is an absolute beast, so we need him to be the front man for the next few years. So Kylian Mbappe came in obviously on a free. Matthias Ginter came in on a free. We signed both of these in January. He'll be a backup for the centre-back role, but he's very decent. He can also play in the CDM role if we need it as a defensive midfielder. He can also play right-back possibly and all of that. So a decent little signing to have for free. He's, worth 30 to 35 mil. So if we get him, it's all good. We signed Jude Bellingham. Now, we tried to get Jude Bellingham for cheap, but we couldn't make them budge. They would not accept anything. He had a release clause of 94 mil. We hit that release clause without questioning it. We did question it a little bit, but we hit that release clause, and he will be playing as a box-to-box midfielder in that role. He is unbelievable. At 19 years old, he will only improve. It makes you want to play this game or this save for longer than 3 years, so you can really see how he develops, really see all of these turn into 18s and 19s and whatnot. But Jude Bellingham has come in for 94 million. We got 115 mil at the end of last season, which I didn't know if it would take away from us, so I tried to spend it. We knew we wanted a box-to-box midfielder because our centre midfielders last season weren't great, so we bought in Jude Bellingham. Alongside him, we've bought in Pedri. Now, Pedri looks, truthfully, even better than Jude Bellingham at this point. At the same age, 19 years old, youth coming through United again. 17 dribbling, 18 first touch, 17, 18s here in decisions and flair. Good physical stats. He looks an absolute beast of a player, and his potential means he can get even better. So we're looking forward to using him. But again, our centre mids weren't great last season, so we've put him in. Now, these signings may not be the most realistic, especially Pedri, but the project is not about being realistic. We've got 3 years. We're going to do a journeyman save. That's our realistic one. We're going to do other saves, which might be a bit more realistic. But the project is 3 years with the club. What can we do with it? And we try and get players that match that. And especially when you're at a club like United with 120 mil transfer budget, we try and get the best players. So Pedri comes in for 125 mil and possibly rising to 155 million. You can see we've sold Pereira for 6.5 mil, Phil Jones for 2 million. Other than that, I mean, all these went out on free. None of these are important. Ethan Laird went out for 5.25, could rise to 10.25. Maybe in a longer save, I try and keep him. But again, for 3 years, we'll take the money, we'll invest it elsewhere. It's only a 3-year project, so we're not necessarily caring too much about where we send those players. We sold Fred as well, 25 million up front, 30 million it could rise to. So very, very good sale there. He was never playing for us, so we've bought him in. So a decent little transfer window for us. 2 main players, of course, or well, let's say 3 main players with Mbappe. But huge adjustments to the team. Still got 26.4 mil. Still got huge wage budget. And that is the benefit of being Manchester United. If we look at our pre-season before we get into our tactics for this season, we can see how pre-season has gone. We've won every single game. We have done quite well not conceding. We've beaten Milan, the Champions League holders, 5-0. Inter Milan, I mean, did Mbappe got a hat-trick there? He did. Inter Milan 3-0, Madrid 2-0, 3-0 Leipzig, 2-1 against Atletico Madrid, 5-2 against Dortmund. Very, very decent. Good. I'm saying decent a lot because it's not great, but we'll see. And the reason we've been doing well is because we've been trying out a few tactics that we will have a look at once we go through the start of the season. So you can see here we start today with the Community Shield. Then we have Fulham, Everton, Man City, Newcastle. A couple of tough games, possibly West Ham, but quite an easy month bar Man City. I'd say quite a few away games that we have to be careful for, that we've been developing a tactic for that might work. But of course, all these are home anyway. We should have probably tested a few away from home. We've got Arsenal and Chelsea back-to-back here, but quite an easy month happening here. And we don't really have any hard months, other than possibly Tottenham, Liverpool and City, each games after each other. Arsenal, Everton, Chelsea in March. But of course, the big one is May. We end with Chelsea. We end with Leicester, Tottenham, Brentford, and then Liverpool in the last game of the season. So if it comes down to that last game at home, at Old Trafford, we can lift the title in front of Liverpool. Let's have a look at our tactics. So we are obviously keeping our 4-2-3-1. It worked well last season. We did very, very well with that. And it would be a simple mix here. We'd get Jude Bellingham on, for example, and we could possibly put Pedri on. Pogba's a good player to have. I wouldn't be averse to selling him. He didn't perform too well last season. None of our centre mids did, but he's got an 8.02 rating right now, so he's doing well. And we've also got this tactic, a 4-3-3 with it shouldn't be ball-winning midfielder, it should be a defensive midfielder, and that will be Frank Kessie in there, and that might suit him a little bit more. And when we're up against it, having an extra DM, having wing-backs on support instead of full-backs on attack and things like that. We might even put these to full-back on defend. We'll have a look at that. But it works well. It's more of a keep the ball. We have changed it from shorter passing to more direct. I just feel with the short passing, we were playing games and winning them 2-0 and 2-1 and things like that. So having more direct passing might work as well, but that is something we will learn. The familiarity is growing there. And we might also introduce a sort of 3 at the back, 3-4-3 type formation. But as well as that, we might, one thing I'm thinking of is moving it like that, having a 4-2-2. I love 2 striker formations. I grew up watching Alex Ferguson with the classic 4-4-2. I like having a formation that works with a 4-2-2. So that's something I think we're going to try out in the later months. But for today, we have got Liverpool. And we're going to play our 4-2-3-1. I feel a strong team. I'm confident in the boys. And it's going to be this lineup to start with. De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Varane and Maguire. Shaw at the left back position. Bellingham on that box-to-box midfielder role, which is what he's suited for. Pogba in advanced playmaker. Greenwood, Fernandes, Cristiano Ronaldo as the inside forward. And Mbappe as the advanced forward. Cristiano Ronaldo can still play there. He's moving a bit into the older years now. His physicals are dropping a little bit. Only 15 pace. He's apparently better as a round data than an inside forward. So we'll monitor that, because if we can play him at striker and put Mbappe out wide, we can put him as a poacher as well. Good heading, good finishing, etc. So we'll have to have a look into that. We do need a keeper, I think. Tom Heaton retired, so we need to buy a keeper in the save. We'll pick up someone young, someone promising possibly, or we'll also go the opposite direction, pick up someone old who's just going to rot on the bench, and it's not a big deal to us. But we've also actually, seeing Dean Henderson is injured, not only have we got top players coming through the ranks such as Shoretire, such as Hannibal, Pellistri, Diallo, etc. that we can always fall back on, we have got Dermot Mee. Now, where is Dermot Mee? He is here. Dermot Mee, Brian Tucker, Nathan Bishop, they're all there. So we could bring these through quite easily instead of buying a keeper, because again, they're just going to rot on the bench, aren't they? So for today, we are going to move him into the first team for the Community Shield, just to have that sub. Now, if we do look at our subs, we're going to play Dallo and Ginter. I'm happy with that. Where's Tellez? He's injured. Brandon Williams is back. James Garner, he could play that role if Kesse's not performing. Deep line playmaker, he looks unbelievable. Maybe not quite ready for United just yet. Van der Beek is on the bench or on the reserves. Do we bring him on? Alanga as well. But I think I'm happy with Kesse, Pedro, Rashford, Sancho. We've got so many options. So we'll look into that. But for today, I'm happy with that team. Christensen, of course, can always play the centre-back or CDM role as well. So I feel like we've got very good depth back in the squad. Twanzebe is back as a centre-back. He's unbelievable. So I'm very, very excited for this season. And it all starts here against Liverpool, our arch nemesis, the team that are just so good and almost unbeatable. Let's see what we can do. We're going to stay on positive. We're going to really go after them. It's at a neutral venue. I believe we have the upper hand at venues like this, so we're going to go for it. It's as simple as that. Whatever happens, happens. Community Shield doesn't matter, but we will learn a lot about our tactic, and that is what matters today. The goals for the season are obviously to win absolutely everything. There's no reason we shouldn't be doing that. The same as last season, and we're going to say we owe Liverpool after what happened. And not necessarily about what happened with us or with them. They stole the title off of us. That's how we see it. So we are going to press and tight mark Mane, Salah, Firmino. All of them are going to be under absolute pressure. We might specifically mark a few as well. We'll see. We're going to push Andy Robertson. But other than that, I think I'm okay. James Ward-Prowse has signed for Liverpool. So I think that will do. We'll go to the dressing room. We'll finish up our team talk. And now we are walking out. Jude Bellingham getting his debut. Mbappe getting his debut. Number 14 and number 21 for the both of them. That could change in the near future. Who knows? But for this season, that is their numbers. Who's excited? Because I am. It's the start of a new season. Manchester United have got something to move back off of, the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, but it's now time to prove why they should be in the elite clubs yet again, winning the Champions League, winning the Premier League, etc. That is the goal, and there is Bellingham's first few touches for Manchester United. I really hope he is just unbelievable. Something like 20 goals, 20 assists, something crazy. It will be good to see. And Mbappe, he might be off. I don't think he might be. Let's see it. But if that is one way to open your account, That is unbelievable. He is just off, but Ronaldo assists him and he dinks it over Alisson. He is here to disrespect keepers, disrespect defenders, and hopefully he does that throughout the entire season. But a very, very good start there for United as Luke Shaw gets booked. We can't be getting red cards in big games this season. But we are dominating the game. 5 shots to 1. We are on Liverpool. That's exactly what we wanted. But they do start with the ball in this highlight. Mane back to Virgil van Dijk. Out to Firmino as Mane made that run. But he's decided to go back to Alisson. Staying patient with the possession. Mane to Firmino. There could be a good reason for it. Salah's through. And De Gea saves it by diving into the net. So however it works, I don't mind. But he does pull off the save. And luckily, it is still 0-0. Mbappe here. Plays it out to Wan-Bissaka. Can we get the cross in? He does get the cross in. Ronaldo's there. And it looks like it hit the bar. Very close. Ronaldo is still dangerous in that scenario. Still got, I think, like 19 heading or something ridiculous. So, very, very good there. They have started to pick up on the shots. They've started dominating the possession. So, we need to make sure we give the boys... I'm not happy with your performance out there. Improve. Ronaldo on a 7.1. So if anyone thought that now he was declining a little bit, that his age would affect him, yeah, that's not the case. We're going to drop to balanced just while they're getting a few more shots, getting a bit more possession. We're going to keep an eye out for that. And it looks like we have a bit of a highlight here as Bruno Fernandes takes the free kick, whips one in. Alisson pulls off an absolute wonder save. Ronaldo looking tired now, so we're going to have to do something about that. Bruno Fernandes whips one in. Harry Maguire, close but not close enough. We've had a few chances, but we're not capitalising on them at all, as they're now picking up quite a few bookings, potentially where we're keeping a bit more possession. Now, we're going to make a sub. I think we're going to take off Ronaldo. No point wasting. I mean, what is Mbappe doing? A 6.2. Let's see what happens if we move him out to an inside forward, and then we can put Rashford potentially up top. He's not as good up top, but you know what? He can do the job, so we'll leave him there. Everyone else, Greenwood could come off, I think, for Jadon Sancho. And do we take off Jude Bellingham? I think we do, because he's a little bit tired. Maybe not just yet. Let's make 2 changes just for now, and then we'll look at bringing on Pedri and seeing what he can do. So, Rashford and Sancho on the pitch for United as Mane comes off and Tecatito goes on for Liverpool. Will there be one final highlight? There is, and it is Tecatito. Varane with a good clearing header, but it's not cleared yet as Salah picks it up. Pavard, good from Mbappe there. Let's raise that rating a little bit by doing some defensive work. Mbappe as Virgil plays it to Henderson. Out back to Van Dijk. They're keeping the ball really well here. Our press, drawing players out of position a little bit too much than we would have wanted as Pavard goes through, hits the post. That could have been the moment. Bruno slides in the box, almost takes out Robertson. That hopefully is the end of the highlight, but that was a little bit worrying. We're going to demand more from the entire team. We really should take off Luke Shaw actually, because he is basically dying. So we're going to take him off and bring on Diego Dallo in at fullback. We're also going to put our defenders on support. No need to commit them too much now. We might also take off the press and just press it at a standard amount just to, conserve some energy. That could be killing us later in this game. So we've got to make sure we keep an eye on that. As Firmino picks it up, Mbappe clears. Can Rashford keep that under control? No, he heads it out to Robertson. Liverpool attacking way too much for my liking with these last few minutes of the Community Shield. Pogba wins it back, but it goes straight back to Liverpool. Tecatito looking dangerous as soon as he came on. Henderson cleared by Varane, but it falls straight to Firmino's feet. And in the 89th minute, I mean, we can talk about how much they... can we make a change? I don't think so. Oh, we can. We can talk about how much Liverpool are our bogey team, but it kind of shows there as unfortunately they pick up a goal and it's not good enough. we have conceded, and now we're going all guns blazing, trying to make something happen here, trying to do anything we can. We're going to put him as a shadow striker, which he can play. Bellingham can stay in the middle. Sancho can stay out on the wide, which we can focus play down that right hand side. We can just hit early crosses, shoot on sight, run at defence, be more expressive, do absolutely everything possible here to ensure that we win. That should be on distribute to centre backs, trigger the press much more often, do everything that we can. It might not work, it might be too late, but there's no harm in trying. I think we can bring on as many people as possible if I'm correct, but we have no real good changes to make. Can Bellingham play in this role here? Not necessarily. Probably could, but we won't do it. We'll leave it. I think it has to stay like that. So we'll see what we can do. We'll give the team talk. I trust you to make the difference. Pedri, welcome to the club. You're coming on in a bit of a diabolical setting here, trying to chase this game. We're going to fire up the boys with 3 minutes left. I don't think there's anything that we can do, is there? We have lost the Community Shield 1-0 to Liverpool. You can't say they didn't earn it and they didn't deserve it. But if that's anything to start the season by, then, I mean, they've won the Community Shield apparently because there's no why. So there you go. But what can you do? We lost the game fair and square. They lift a trophy in front of us. Not good enough. It's lucky it's not a trophy that matters, because when it is, we need to be a lot better. And until then, it is unacceptable that we can't bring the trophy home. But we're going to say I'm far from pleased from the result. We're not going to let the boys down. It's not a game that matters immensely, but it is a poor start to our season, and hopefully we can have a better start at home against Fulham, where I think I'm going to try that 4-2-2, probably keep the same sort of formation, same sort of tactics, but do something like this and have a deep line forward, which he probably is suited to now with his age. And I mean, he can definitely do it. There's no doubt about that. But we'll see. We'll mess around with it. Have someone out here. Probably put this like this. And there you go. Even Greenwood could go up top. Ronaldo out here. Something like that. Rashford here or Sancho. Something like that. So we'll mess around with it. But the short and sweet of it is that we lost our first game, our first competition, our first, fight against Liverpool, which does not bear well for the season. But these are where it matters, these competitions here. So hopefully we can do a little bit better. If you have enjoyed today's episode, make sure to leave a like, comment down below, and please do subscribe. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.